Hey everybody, it's Julie. Welcome to Hello Monday. Today I am making a get well card that was actually inspired by the Ricola Natural Herbal Cough Drops. I know, right? My whole ensemble is going to be totally coordinated. Anyway, I was looking at the packaging and it made me think of this herbs and honey collection by Basic Grey. So I went and grabbed the 6x6 pad and then everything just kind of started falling together. So to create the 3D framed effect, I'm going to use some square dies. These are nested square dies by Lifestyle Crafts, but you could use any nesting square dies that you have. And the first trial that I was using my magnetic platform, and my cutting pad was warped, and so it didn't keep my dies in place going through the machine like I wanted. So the first frame was kind of just slightly wonky. So I redid it using some washi tape this time to hold them in place. And then I've got to get some fresh cutting pads that aren't warped to use with my magnetic platform. Then I won't need the washi tape anymore. So this is the second attempt there on that frame, and that one worked out fine. And then I'm going to take the larger of the square dies and cut out the floral paper. And that's going to be the backdrop that goes behind the back of the frame. So now you can see those two fit perfectly together. And then I need to get my banner created. So I'm going to use a set by Lawn Fawn that's called Sophie's Sentiments. And I love the handwritten font and the fact that this is a smaller scale sentiment set, which is perfect because I always have these strips of leftover cardstock. This is buttermints. I had a scrap of buttermints in my bin, and this is why I save these things, because they're perfect for stuff like this and you don't have to cut into a fresh piece of cardstock. So I'm going to trim that down and then go ahead and get that mounted to the back side of my frame. And I'm going to use my grid mat there to get it lined up kind of square. And it dawned on me that if I used my mini glue dots, these would be perfect because I don't have to get adhesive all over the place. So I'm going to actually slip that right there under the, I just removed the wax paper liner and left the clear liner on there so I could get it in place, and then I can remove the liner papers. I just had to make sure that I was getting the adhesive in the right spot on that frame to hold that together. So now I can go ahead and peel off the clear papers and go ahead and mount that permanently to the back side of the frame. So I'll get the one side lined up and then I can go ahead and get the other side. And that's one of the reasons why I love these sheet style glue dots, because they have those liner papers and you can tear them apart on the perforated lines and just use them individually and remove the liners when you're ready to. So now I've got my sentiment strip on there, and it's oversized. It's going to hang off the edges there because I wasn't quite sure where I was going to need to trim it. And then I wanted to 3D mount it to the floral paper. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of those 3D foam squares on the back side there and get it all nicely supported. And then I'll use those handles that are hanging out the sides there to kind of line it up. And then I can go ahead. I just removed the liner papers from the ones that were in the middle to make sure that I had some wiggle room in case I didn't get it down there completely. And then I can flip it over and just come around the perimeter and remove the liner papers and affix those permanently on the edges. So we'll get that done. And then I can go ahead and add more glue dots to the back. I just figured a couple of those, one in each corner, was going to work well for mounting that to my card front. So I decided to make a top folding card this time, and this is 4 inches by 11 inches, and it's going to be a top folding card, and I scored it at 5.5 inch using my mini Martha Stewart scoreboard. This is going to work out perfectly, I think, in scale for this particular frame. I could have gone with a standard A2, but it just seemed to, I seem to feel that it looked more balanced if I made the card just slightly narrower. So I'm going to go ahead and use the handles there to mount the diagonal. On the diagonal, I just removed the liner papers from the corners there, and then I can go ahead and remove the liner papers from the other corners now that I'm sure that's where I want it, because pretty much once you've glued it down with those glue dots, it's pretty much anchored on there. And then I decided I needed to add some additional support to my overhanging strips there towards the edge of the card. So I'm going to go ahead and add 2 more. I had 2 more left of my little square foam dots. And then remove the liner papers and affix those permanently. So now I've got full support going across that whole banner, and I can go ahead and flip the card over and trim off the overhanging pieces. and score the card. And I'm gonna crease it using my Teflon bone folder, and I like to flip it over a lot of times and just score from the back side so I don't mash the stuff that's on the front. And then for an embellishment, I'm on a mission to kind of use up my wood veneers that I keep hoarding. So I grabbed one of the little butterflies, this is by Studio Calico, and just tinted it using a Copic marker to match with the paper, and used another glue dot to go ahead and mount it in place. You could use glossy accents, but the glue dots were already there, so I grabbed those. And then I went ahead and put glossy accents in a nice thick coat over the top of my butterfly and let it dry permanently. And then it gave me a nice high gloss finish, like an epoxy finish on my wood veneer butterfly. And I thought this made an adorable get well card. I could make a whole stack of these. Thanks for watching.